I'm sorry for the lag. I'm sorry for the lag. I don't know what's going on tonight. Okay, it gave up. It gave up. My camera gave up, kind of like how the Spurs almost gave up tonight. They didn't give up. They didn't give up. They just played really dumb. But I want to take a look at what Mitch Johnson had to say. So I definitely want to see that. They just posted it. So I'm starting to realize that everything gets posted like literally an hour after the game, like on the dot, hour after the game they post. So now that we know that, we know when to get on. Okay, not on live stream, but when to start looking for the videos. But before we talk about any of that, as always, really quick, big shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring this segment. And as you guys see, I'm scrolling right here because I just like having a good time. So if you don't know what Sleeper is, you can do daily fantasy sports. If you're not interested in that, they also have a huge section here, as you can see. Well, I'm in the NFL section right now, but as you can see, where you can see highlights, updates, live scores. Like for instance, at the point of this recording, we got the freaking Lakers and the Wolves. Sorry, I blanked for a minute. And like the chat told me, Luka's putting on a show versus them, right? So if you guys are interested at all, please download the app. Use my link below, and you support the sponsor, you support the channel, okay? And also, if you want to make any picks, you just go to the middle part right here, go over to NBA, and my internet is really dumb, and you could just hit. I think our boy Tyrese Maxey has more than 26 points, right? You hit more, you pick a few more, and then you add it on, and you can get some moolah, okay? But use that promo code CLAN, and you get 100% match up to $100. All right, let's take a look. Shut up, bro. Mick, shut up. Shut up. All right. Let's take a look at what Miss Johnson had to say. So stupid. Oh, you guys can't hear anything, bro. I'm so sorry. Here we go. I didn't realize you couldn't hear anything.
I thought everybody had some really rough moments tonight, and it was good to see, especially in the second half, and then winning time or crunch time, that end of the fourth and overtime. A lot of guys stepped up and made plays. Obviously, some guys made some shots, but there was a really good competitive response, and you don't always have your A game individually or collectively, and to be able to play through some of that and finish strong says something about those guys' character and competitiveness.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I agree. Like it showed character. But good God, man, you shoot yourself in the foot and then you have to come back from it. But yeah, like I said, and like we said in the other segment, like Castle was really good down the stretch for the most part. Like I don't think we win without his stretch in overtime. And I felt like we did finish strong in certain regards. But then got a little too comfortable in other regards. So, yeah, I'm curious how he's going to phrase some of those issues. But, yeah.
Specifically, this kind of game highlight how you guys brought him to that.
Yeah, he was probably the only guy that played a really clean game, just in terms of not a lot of self-inflicted mistakes. Some guys made some plays, but they also were pressing at times, got a little ahead of ourselves. Felt like for a little bit we were a step slow defensively, a step fast offensively, and he was just kind of steady hand. He was just kind of a steady hand, and he was a calming presence on both ends while also being impactful.
We're talking about Cornette, right? You guys say he sound like Doc Rivers. Hold on, I have to do this every time. You guys know who he sounds like. Why do I have to always do this? Why do I always have to do this with you guys?
despite those guys making those mistakes, like what did you think of just sort of the resilience they showed? They kept coming back.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised that they kept coming back. If anything, there's a
Messed up.
desire for them to not flinch and not hesitate quicker. Miss a shot, make a mistake, brain fart defensively. We want to get back quicker. And a lot of it, again, is because they want to do the right thing. And we all respond because we're competitive, but we need to get them back. And it was good because I think as the game went on, they got back quicker. And you saw some guys that went from making mistakes to making plays pretty quickly.
There's a three-pointer that was the key one at that moment and the way he finished. Just what did you think of that whole stretch for him?
One of his greatest strengths is his fearlessness, and so at times our greatest strengths can be a weakness or a shortcoming, and you see that at times. He's fearless, doesn't care who's in front of him, how many people, and he wants to be aggressive.
Where's the trigger?
And we don't want to take that away from him. And so
Where is she?
To make a play there, that wasn't a great play that I drew or called. He was playing basketball. And
Blowing his cover, bro.
again,
I'm sorry.
Some of the things you guys just talked about in terms of the response and the confidence to be able to do that in that moment speaks volumes.
Why would he use the same voice from his secret identity?
Zion Williamson's a load, so it's tough to guard him. There's some of those plays where there's just a lot of contact. I'm not even complaining. Like, I don't really even know. It's hard. I feel for the refs, to be honest, in real time, because he's going that way. It's like the movable object makes the yeah. But I actually commended Victor and Keldon just in terms of there's a lot of guys in this league that try to not foul out to stay in the game, and so to try to make a play that you thought your team needed at that time, they called a foul.
So true. You agree with that? Am I tripping? You commend them for making a bad decision because they weren't afraid about fouling out because the team needed that play? It's one play. Vic's last, I don't think Vic should have had 6 fouls. I will say that. But his last foul, that was just dumb. I don't know why he did that. I don't know. Like I said before, fouling out is not the worst thing in the world. It happens sometimes. But I do wish that they were like fighting on their behalf a little bit with the refs, Like, I really need them to get on to the refs or talk to them a little bit more. And it seems like Vic just refused. He just refused. You got to talk to him. I'm so not sold on Mitch. Wait, no. Not just from this one thing. Like, Mitch Johnson, I think, is a really good coach. And the positive spin is probably fine. Maybe he tells the media one thing and then he goes and tells them, hey, we really need to clean that up. But, I don't know. I'm not going to commend, at least as a fan, I'm not going to commend Wemby and Keldon for fouling out of the game. They got to fight. You got to fight with the refs a little bit. I felt like we weren't really, it got ridiculous. Some of these calls were ridiculous. But, yeah. What's up, Clan, the Spurs fan? What's up, man?
I had no beef with that. They didn't get called for a silly foul or they weren't ready or they were out of position because they weren't in the right starting spot. If you're competing, things happen, and they trust their teammates to come in and finish the job. And I think that's, some guys would choose the other.
Okay, maybe I should have finished what he was saying because, okay, I agree with him there. I guess that's what he's saying. Like, they weren't getting like really dumb fouls or silly fouls, and I agree with that. But the last foul from Wemby was dumb. And I wasn't, who am I? I'm just a guy on the couch talking Spurs with you guys, right? But like, it seemed like I don't know. I don't know if Wemby knew he was about to be fouled out. I don't know. I don't know if he knew it was 5 fouls he had already in that moment. It was just strange. That seemed like a play that you don't, not that you don't go for, but he just swiped down, like, I don't know. But most of the fouls were like really dumb fouls. Like they weren't out of position or anything like that. And I do understand the way that the Pelicans were playing and the way that Zion plays, which is very frustrating, is just that he's just this big wrecking ball. And in the NBA, like, they're going to call, especially in the regular season, they're going to be calling fouls, right? That's why I think that him in the playoffs won't work. His play style will not work in the playoffs, right? You're not going to win anything in the playoffs. But in the regular season, you can get away with it. They'll send you to the line. Clan, that last foul was unnecessary. It was so unnecessary. That's the only thing I disagree with, but I think he was just saying all the fouls as a whole, because the game didn't end with that last foul. It did end, or his game didn't end because that last foul. It was all the fouls leading up to it. But it also sounded like he kind of insinuated that, like, they weren't afraid to get that last foul, which I don't agree with. I think you should be afraid to get that last foul. I mean, yeah, trust your teammates. Yeah, sure. But, like, you're Victor Wembanyama, you know? Hold on. Let me listen to it again.
I actually commended Victor and Keldon just in terms of there's a lot of guys in this league that try to not foul out to stay in the game. And so to try to make
No, he did literally say that.
A play that you thought your team needed at that time, they called a foul. I had no beef with that. They didn't get called for a silly foul or they weren't.
Oh, okay. Okay. He's saying the ending they didn't get called for a silly foul. I just disagree with Mitch. I disagree with our coach, but hey, he's a phenomenal. I won't say he's a phenomenal coach. We don't know that yet, but he's a very good coach. I think he is a very good coach and a smart coach. So, what do I know?
Ready, or they were out of position because they weren't in the right starting spot. If you're competing, things happen, and they trust their teammates to come in and finish the job. And I think that's, some guys would choose the other.
It's like crunch time in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Keldon Johnson's last foul was BS. I mentioned that in the other one. Couple Keldon fouls were legitimate, but yeah, that last foul was like, that's not. Come on, that was all ball. But he did make contact. It was body contact, but he got the ball clean right there, you know?
When you guys were on defense, they tried to kind of like squeeze Vic with some like kind of foot screens. What do you think?
Yeah, Mitch did play Harper way more. I guess it kind of, I guess what he said about like them trusting each other is also something that he kind of shows as well. Like, he trusts his team. He trusts people to be out there and do their thing. I will say these 2 games, I don't think that it was coaching at all. Like, I know some people after this game was like, Mitch Johnson. I made a joke like Mitch Johnson should be arrested or whatever, but I was just joking. Like, I don't think that this was like poorly coached at all. Like, his lineups were really impressive, I thought. And he did things in very timely. It was very timely situation. He trusted Dylan Harper to a large extent. And it was a stretch where it was very obvious and blatant that the coaching staff said, go out there and get us some buckets, you know? And yeah, regardless of, that's the one thing that's different between him and Pop. Regardless of all the mistakes that Dylan Harper was making, he made sure to, give him his chance to shine. I don't know how I feel about it, but every coach is different, right? He's not going to be Pop to a T. But yeah.
Their approach and some of the kind of ways they try to like muck it up with him, and how do you feel like him and the rest of the team communicate that most?
Yeah, they've done that in the past with obviously Zion Williamson, that low screen where it's tough because he gets ahead of momentum, and you got to make a decision whether you're going to try to meet him with momentum as you're backing up or moving laterally, or typically it's putting a smaller body on him. And so it was a team effort in terms of trying to slow him down and then make a wall and give resistance without fouling. And that, again, you're going to lead to some fouls and some collisions and block charges and whatnot. And I thought our guys navigated well, especially as the game went on. It takes a lot of communication and you have different people at times and different schemes in terms of what you want them to do defensively. And so to stay connected takes a lot of mental focus, fortitude, and communication. I thought, again, we got better as the game went on, especially in the end of fourth quarter and overtime.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach. Thank you. Thank you, Coach. Phyllis says, I'm watching the live stream from the beginning, but what's up, Clan? Hello, Phyllis. I am Clan from the future. How are you doing? But yeah, Luke Cornett has been so good. He's gonna be a consistent guy for us. Like he is great. Good stuff though. I agree with Mitch Johnson for the most part. I don't agree with. I don't know. I guess that's a positive spin on it. He's a very positive guy. Like, but that was a dumb foul from Vic down the stretch. I'm sorry. Like, we're in overtime. We need you. You just like. I mean, you're about to take their heart out. I saw that block. That was, I mean, not block, that dunk. Like, that was crazy. You're about to take their heart out. And then, like, you make a dumb play like that. Like, I don't know. It was unnecessary. When I saw him going for it, I was like, what is he doing? Like, what are you doing, Wemby? I don't know. I think Wemby got punished for his hubris. Have you seen the fragment of the post game that he cut? That was cut from the vids we can see on the internet now. What you mean? With him saying like I worked hard this effing summer or whatever? They didn't punish him for that. That's a little bit of a stretch. Is that what you're talking about though, Joey? I want to make sure that's what you're talking about before we end this segment. No, the link I just posted. Well, I can't click the link. Who cares? Post it for the people later. Whenever this video is uploaded. Post it in the vid.